Everybody keeps telling you you need to be the authority, authority this, authority that. Well, whoop-de-doo. You're great at what you do. You've got skill. The experience has satisfied clients, but online, nobody sees it. AI doesn't care about your skill. Sorry to tell you that. Google doesn't care about your reputation in the real world. If your digital presence isn't screaming authority, you are invisible.
No more burnout, no more fear. We'll build it strong, make it clear. Not just a grind, but a dream that's true. Building a business that works for you.
Even if you're the best in the market, the best in town. I'm Deanna Lucas, and welcome to the Builder's Edge. Today, I'm kicking off a no-fluff, 4-part solo series I'm calling the AI Visibility Blueprint Training. And we're not just talking theory. I want you to follow along as we go. So here's what you need to do first. Go grab the AI Visibility Scorecard. The link's in the show notes. Take it right now. Take it to see exactly how visible your business is online. And as soon as you finish, you can download your AI Visibility Blueprint. It's going to give you step-by-step instructions exactly how to do this all on your own. And this 4-part series is going to walk you through all 4 steps, each process. And it'll give you step-by-step, but over the next 4 episodes, you'll know exactly how to turn your skills into visibility and that authority everybody keeps talking about. So we'll see you, AI sees you, we'll know that clients can see you, and your phone starts ringing with the leads you actually want, right? So this is part 1, and we're tackling the foundation. We're talking about the difference between skill versus authority. Because if you don't get this portion and this big first piece, nothing else in the blueprint will even land home with you. I'll audit today a client's before and after homepage live so you can see exactly what authority looks like online and what it looks like, and what it looks like when it's missing, when you don't have those pieces. And by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what's keeping your business invisible and keep you from lacking that authority and exactly how to fix it. So let's talk about skill versus authority to start out with. Skill is, of course, we know your ability. That's internal, though. Think of that. That's something you hold dear, you're proud of, your clients are experiencing. Authority is what the market, or the internet, if you want to call it, believes about you. That external, visible, about you, external and visible. Most business owners have the skill. Let's face it, I had a client on the Builder's Edge, not a client, I had a guest on the Builder's Edge who is, in the service-based business. And he talked about how, we got to get over this feeling that we're the only one that can do our job. Believe it or not, there are skilled tilers from, all across the world. There are skilled. And right now, that's what it looks like. If you're just talking and showing your skill on the online, then that's what it looks like to everybody online. You look like this sea of skilled people all across the area. So you have to look like an authority in your area in what you do. So most business owners, they all have this skill, let's face it, right? But their digital presence isn't just about info. It's about what looks like it's not about producing what looks like a fancy business card online without any authority. That's what skill looks like. If you're presenting your skill online, all it really ends up looking like is a fancy business card. It doesn't look like you're the obvious choice or you're the pro. Even though you show skill, believe it or not, it doesn't make you look like the pro, because people don't just buy a fancy business card. They don't buy into that They don't get pulled down that rabbit hole anymore. That, this fancy business card must mean you know what you're doing and that you're doing it well and you're satisfying clients. It takes more than that nowadays. I know a lot of you have probably, I've been kicking it for years, and then all of a sudden this new clown comes into town and he's just starting to do, it looks like he just fell off the turnip truck, is what our old saying used to be. He looks so young, but yet he is killing it in here and he's taken over and dominating the market. It's because he's showing an authority, and we'll get into each piece of this so that you can do the same thing. So this little mini takeaway: authority is what gets you chosen when clients scroll through hundreds of options, and without it, you are invisible. So this sea of information, if you use generic messages like, now think of this, we all do this, we're all guilty, and they're okay, but you have to add to it or build to it, or it has to be something more than just this. Maybe your website, or maybe you're just using some social media out there, and you have in your things, your titles, quality service, family, or we care, et cetera, fill in the blank. This disappears into noise. Being good isn't rare. Everybody's saying telling everyone that they're great at what they do, and that's not rare. Being the obvious choice, now that is rare. Authority triggers. Okay, so here's where the authority comes in. These are testimonials. I just cannot express how these can be all types of testimonials. This can be a testimonial of someone that you do business from. This could be a testimonial. Let's say you buy a product from your supplier, and the supplier can go on and give you a review and a testimonial about how pleasant you are to work with, how you always say what you're going to, you do what you're going to do, and you're always picking up your product on time, or you're always, maybe they'd want to give a testimonial about how you don't settle for just any product. You want the qualities that that they provide. So testimonials can come from everywhere. Think about it. You're having a testimonial about it's kind of a recommendation, basically, how trustworthy you are, how they've known you for years, and how you're an honest person. So these can come from all around. It doesn't just have to be who, project you worked on this week. These testimonials can come from all of your people around you. Logos are authority triggers. Keep your logos the same. Your logos that you have, wherever you got those logos, there is a color combination to your logo. And that color combination is a digital color that is known throughout all of your digital presence. So you can have that color come up, when you're picking things for other things that you want to use on your social media, you use that same color code. It works across all platforms. So make your logos and the colors of your logos and the schemes of all these things match. Certifications show authority. If there's any way of having any certification out there, show your certification, show your business license, show your contractor's license. All these things are certifications. And then use your past clients not just as reviews or testimonies. Start using them as case studies. And, you can call that a case study on your site as well. Case study. Think about it as a story. Your case study is going to start from the beginning. You're going to start from, this client had this problem. It's great to mention that you're servicing these people in the towns where you want to work. This is a great trigger for authority. They have authority in this town. Oh, look, their client is from this town. If someone has a problem, let's say, I've said this several times in some of my podcasts, but I want to say it again. Let's say you are doing let's say you do backyard OSs. Maybe you do decks, patios, pools, whatever, just landscaping, whatever. This client had a problem. They had nowhere to relax. They had nowhere to decompress. They had nowhere to enjoy the family for the weekend. And, whatever problem that you fixed, You came in, you wiped out this problem, you totally gave them the backyard oasis of their dreams. And now you did this and you did this and you did this. Be a little detailed about it, not deep detail, but be a little detailed about what you felt like needed to be in this space, how you need to accomplish that, because there's things behind the scenes that people, when they get that backyard oasis, they don't know that you've worked on drainage and that you've worked on, the foundation, and you've worked on things that are going to make it last them for, maybe even, generations to come. So talk about some of these things that makes you look like an authority, and then talk about what life was like after they worked with you. Perfect case study. You got the before, the middle, and the after. Use professional branding. Get branding that works across board. A lot of times, and I'm going to show you a client here that some befores and afters, a client here that up the branding has a logo, has a name, but kept switching up the branding. So it didn't really scream authority. So we're reeling in his branding, reeling in his logo, and screaming more with some authority. Authority triggers that signals to AI, search engines, and clients that you're credible, you're trusted, and you are the obvious choice. So let's go right into it and let's share. I want to show you some things on these websites and talk about how these are not working previously, but working now. Okay, here is the before. Notice there's just a little tiny logo up here that he is using, kind of not repeated here. Has some very general looking things here. Join our network, apply, talks about 10X podcast launch course. Here's a couple options here with get started. A book here that he wants to show a little bit of authority, but I want you to look at the difference between the way we kind of branded this and set this into motion here as well. Here, his podcasts that he has worked with. And we kind of reword this a little bit and add to this, but these are some podcasts. He's done some pretty good shows. And then this is the end of this website for him. This is as far as it got. It shows that, it shows he's done some work, some good things about it. And that's what you think. You think, okay, I'm showing that I'm working. I'm showing that, I got a little bit of authority here. I've written a book. And, and how to kind of get started, a little things different here. So with this was not real clear. How to work with him right here was not super clear. So I want to show you some clarity that we put into here. Join our network so now that's the after. Let's get a before. Let's go into the after. So here is our after. Here he has his logo. Now he's showing a little bit more of authority here with his pages in here. This is actually, kind of a website banner that we have versus what we had before. Turn your voice into authority without starting from scratch. Clearly states what he does, and he works with people nationwide. So, but what you would do here, and I'm going to show you another handyman page that we had done. And it clearly is going to show in the town he works and what he does. And always, this is fantastic. This, videos show people, who they're going to be working with, and then they can have that trust, and an authority right there in a video that they can watch about you. Always, when we did this page, through here, he has got, this video will continue to run as you're looking through here. Great podcasts don't fail, distribution does. This talks about what he focuses on, your distribution of your podcast, and get started today, just, specifically. High impact podcast with a proven system. He's got a proven system. And then these are a few steps here. This is, start the course, join the network, or be a guest. This is very clear of what the next step is. And you want that to build authority when somebody comes to your page. It's very clear. I need to fill out a lead form, or I need to contact you, or I need to just maybe find out a little bit more about my project, and even if I can even afford, what I'm thinking of doing. Great authority piece here, and I build them all the time, could be like a cost estimate or project estimate. And this really can weed a lot of people that aren't even in the park. Had somebody lead call me the other day and said, I got a $500 budget. I need somebody to come and put a deck on my house. I was like, the boards cost 30 some dollars a piece. I am terribly sorry. You could go to get a concrete stoop and put it up to your house, possibly for $500. It's just crazy what people think that things cost. So a cost estimate here is great. And then here we took his book and made it look, I think, a lot more authoritative. This is something behind the scenes that we kind of work on. These little check marks here, this is all coded so that AI can actually read this and read this quickly. So that's going to help him right away. Start reading today. That tells you that, for free, he's letting you download this book and you can start reading it today. But also, here's another authority piece. These are going to be great. I'll show you how this handyman kind of hits for service-based. But if you're out there and you're in the coaching business or the any kind of business such as this is great. This shows major authority. This is the 10X podcasting library. So this is a header that is on this section that AI is reading. Oh my gosh, this guy has a whole library of resources for a client. And then, if you prefer a hard copy, you can get them. They're available on Amazon. These are links from within his site to other sites that show this authority. And then blogs. You have got to have a blog section. Blogging, telling people, how you got into the business is great. So you need to blog about yourself. You need blogs, how to get started. And it really doesn't hurt, believe it or not, to put a blog up there on a DIY, how to do it yourself. Things like that. So you don't need confidence, you need permission. Podcast success isn't about gear. It's not about the microphone and all this fancy gear. As you see, I don't have it either. It's about intention. It's just about wanting to make that difference and getting a point across and getting people to grow and experience with you. And then this is about 10X podcasting. This is the one just about you. Okay, now we know podcasts powered by 10X. These are powered by this knowledge and this authority, all of these podcasts, including mine. Then he had no testimonials. So right here, not only do we have testimonials, we have video testimonials about what other people are saying. And this is this beginning, the middle, and the end. Right here, from a launch to 6 figures in 6 months through Podcast Authority. So he launched his podcast, went through and in here he tells his story about how he struggled, kicked right in, and within 6 months, he's into the 6-figure market. All of these different amazing, these look like, and these are thumbnails that'll be up here on your videos. These look like videos that you want to hear from these guys. You want to see what they've got to say and then get started right away. Still not sure. This is the FAQ that I tell you have to have at least a few questions on here to start. Always add to this monthly, add another question, add another question. And these are great. Like, yours would be things like, do I really need to replace my flooring? Do I really need to, what kind of time does it entail in order to replace all the flooring in my house? What are the steps to doing this? If you're a contractor, what we have on our builder page is, what are the steps that I will go through to build a home with you? Things like that. And so it gives them more answers. When you think being this authority, I want you to think of this. Google, Bing, Yahoo, all the search engines, when somebody's sitting there and typing in and searching for something, that's their client. So you have to think about how they're thinking about their client. If their client is somebody that is searching and they want to give them the best juice going, they're going to pick the best there through these authority signals. So if my client is asking a question, I'm thinking, okay, well, this person answers questions. They've got an FAQ on their website, so they're answering their questions. That's where they're going to find answers to their problem. That's how they're thinking about their client. A little authority here. And then we have the follow us, they can follow on all of the platforms, contact everything. They have this whole terms, policy, copywritten. So that's the difference of looking as an authority figure in your business. Must have these authority signals. See the difference here. Now let's go over, and I told you that I would do a handyman. This is an after. And this is a handyman as well. There we go. Okay, notice the logo, Home Healer Handyman. And he has this bar up here. Another video. Here he is being interviewed about his business. And they talk about his business, how he got into business, what he loves about his business, why he has a passion for it. This is going to have people just absolutely trust having him in their home. Trust that he loves what he does, enjoys what he does, and works in their area. Notice I have the main area. Find the main area where you want to work. Doesn't mean that's the only place you're going to work, but that is a signal that says, hey, this guy does work in this area. Proudly serving in surrounding areas, including, so we did the surrounding areas, quality repairs done right the first time. How to work with him. This is literally and his form on how to get an estimate. And he gives them out within 48 hours. He's got this pretty automated. He takes a quick peek at them and the rest is automated. What I love about what we did for his site, as you can see, this is what I was talking about once you start the video and you're looking here, it continues. But he also has a chat box. This is authority. If anybody needs anything, they can get it right here with his helper AI that we have for him as well. Another section here, these are projects, his project gallery. You're going to have that just constantly going. And then what others are saying, this testimonials. These are video testimonials showing him doing the work on these projects right away that he's done. Get started right away. And then this blog section, this is authority. You're talking about what you do and why you do it. And you're not just putting in here, we care, and those little generic things I was talking about. You're showing you care. Here he's got why clean professionalism matters in home services. This is showing that you care. This is more authority than just saying it. It's kind of like, you say you're going to do all these things, but, when you show up, what do you do when you show up? And this is the difference. This is showing the internet and AI that you're showing up. Pricing that makes sense. So this is clear. This is also showing AI that, he's transparent in his pricing. So he's talking about pricing and values we stand by at Home Healer Handyman. That is kind of how he got started and what he stands for and where he's at. These are great authority pieces. Also a little behind the scenes type of thing. Now we can set this blog section on your website can have its own domain and its own blog domain where you just load and load all your thoughts and your blogs, and you load them that AI can read them quickly. There's a certain way to do that. We can go into that further. But just having some blogs on here is really, really important. Even if you just put them on there in a section that doesn't have all the behind the scenes pieces, they'll still be showing authority and they'll still be showing AI and the internet that you have this authority. And then showing that you can apply for an upcoming slot today, get started. These are some more authorities: the Better Business Bureau A+ rating, 5-star on Google, and licensed and insured. Those are done as little logos that they're not put in as logos, but they're put in, and the tagging that has them says that they're licensed and insured. And then these reviews just keep, over 500 homeowners trust Home Healer Handyman and repairs and improvements. Frequently asked questions. This one we have 10. There's, a few more questions that they're probably going to ask. And these questions will be loaded. Like next month, he'll have question number 11. The month after that, question number 12. It doesn't hurt to add to these as well. The same authority here and the authority with all of his socials and contact us, and his belongs to him. Everything I do here belongs to you. I don't keep anything. I don't hijack anything. That really frustrates me when you work with somebody in marketing and they hijack your stuff. So this is some good examples of that I was speaking about, that authority and showing that authority. You saw on these, let's recap: generic headline, minimal social proof, and weak call to actions. Afterwards, the outcome focused with a headline that is told exactly what you did and where you did it. Testimonials are on there, logos above the fold. Now, the fold is that first little drop down on the website, and you have to be above that clear call to action there. So small changes start giving those big authority signals. Listeners, go audit your homepage. Make sure your headline clearly communicates a result. Visible credibility signals and call to actions are obvious and compelling. So let's talk about authority beyond your website. This has to be there now. It is truly, and has been for a while now, search everywhere optimization, social medias, email, Google Business Profile. Everywhere clients interact with you, you have got to show this authority. Share your reviews across board. If somebody has reviewed and given you a Google Business Profile review, put it on your Facebook page, on your social medias. Share it across the board. They have given it. And use consistent messaging. It's very important that when you go to the next page or they go to your social media, they're seeing the same logos, the same branding, the same colors that I spoke about, all of that. And post this on your social media messaging. Share your results, share these testimonials, and post at least weekly. I know that sounds awful, but at least weekly. And if you post on Facebook, for instance, use your phone. You can post out for 30 days, and at least, you can make 4 posts on your phone while you're on your lunch break, maybe. You take a picture, somebody's rickety boots that they came in on the finished product with, and they've covered in mud from where they were outside, and you're trying to keep the floor from being scratched. Or somebody comes in and puts their stupid tools on the finished product countertop. That used to drive me insane. Some people come and bring their toolbox with them and just put it up and slide right on the countertop. So literally kept my countertops padded and wrapped until the very last minute. Yes, so these things, show those little things that that kind of aggravate you or irritate you. You got to rant a little bit on your socials, just a little bit. People like a little bit of ranting, not some hard core ranting, but a little bit of ranting. Show that what you've accomplished during the day. Show the good, the bad, and the ugly is what I say. Mini teachings, just use little mini teachings. Maybe you can zoom through caulk like it's, like you're putting on butter on bread. And not everybody can do that. So just do a quick little mini teaching on how you manage to do it. Or maybe you suck at putting the caulk on, but you can get it cleaned up, make it look great. Maybe you got that kind of authority. That all shows signals. Those mini teachings make great little mini post on your social. Okay, if you want a clear roadmap to fix your invisibility and build authority that actually generates leads, I'm offering the free coaching sessions for listeners. Yes, your website and your online presence, and I'll show you exactly what to fix to start being seen as the obvious choice. Link in the show notes to schedule your session with me today. That wraps up this first episode 1 of the AI Visibility Blueprint Training. In the next episode, we'll measure your visibility with your AI Visibility Score. Go get it if you haven't. Check out and be sure and print your blueprint. It is in your PDF. You'll find it. You get a PDF of your score breakdown in which sections you did well and which sections you need to work a little more on. This is what's good about this blueprint is it doesn't show you exactly just what to do. I mean, the scorecard, it doesn't exactly show you an overall score. It breaks it down so that maybe you're spending a lot of time in one section, but you're ignoring 3 other sections. There's 4 sections to it that we need to be very clear about, and it'll break it down for you where you're shining and where you need some help so that you can pick up the slack in the other areas. And you'll see exactly where you're winning and where that invisibility is. So subscribe to the Builder's Edge so you don't miss this. And remember, being good at what you do isn't enough. You have to show the world you're the go-to expert. And in this series, I'll give you the tools to do exactly that. If you want to see exactly where your business is invisible, get that roadmap. So we'll look at your website online, remember, as your assessment. Go do that. You can DM me or click the link in the show notes to schedule your free session. So today we tackled the difference between skill and authority. You saw exactly why having skill isn't enough in today's AI-driven search world. I made it obvious for you. If you don't see it now, you're never going to see it. But before we dive deeper, make sure you grab that visibility score. In our next episode, we're going to tackle step 2 in that blueprint that I gave you. We're going to tackle the Google Business Profile Power Play. This is the most powerful free tool you already have. And most businesses aren't even scratching the surface of this tool. We'll show you here how to maximize your authority, choose the right categories, very important, post content that builds trust, and turn your profile into a lead generating machine. If you want to get seen, chosen, and trusted online, you don't want to miss this next episode either. Thanks for listening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of The Builder's Edge. And if you're ready to see exactly where your business is invisible, start fixing it today. Grab that scorecard and blueprint and get to taking action. This is more than a podcast. This is your platform. Your story matters. Let's amplify your voice with purpose. This is Deanna Lucas, host of The Builder's Edge.